Hello, good afternoon to you. Welcome. It is Hunt Fact, reaching you from your number one talk news and sports radio station, 92.3 Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. From now till about 7 o'clock, the conversation continues. Thanks for joining in. Let's talk. I hope you've had a fine Tuesday so far. Things are working out and looking up for you. And at least there's a ray of sunshine in your life. Very much hope so. All right. And, well, you're welcome once again. From now to 7, feel free to join the conversation. Quite a number of issues lined up for today's discussions. And you can join in via facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH, via Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. We're streaming live on these platforms, YouTube as well, Nigeria Info PH. You may also join the conversation at the appropriate time via phone line. Simply call 070-0923-0923. And remember, it's very important that you note this. When you call into a live radio show, once the call is answered, you must turn off the volume of your radio set entirely. Do not leave it on, and then when you're prompted to, you do something and you say, "Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?" No, just turn it off. Just turn it off completely. Else we can't have a conversation. Thank you very much. Let's get right to it then. What matters to be discussed today, you might be wondering? Well, wonder no more, because I'll give you a preview of what to expect on the show today now. So I've got side comments coming up shortly, random stories and random thoughts on these random stories that caught my attention earlier on. I've got some thoughts on those. However, they're not up for discussion now. But I understand that you may have positions or responses or reactions to my side comments. That's totally fine. I'll take those after the 6 p.m. major news during the open season segment, during which we'll do a review of all the other matters discussed on the show today, till about 7 o'clock when the show wraps up. Right after the side comments, I've got a round coming up, as is practice as well, as has been or is convention. Something in my mind, one major issue. I'll express some thoughts on that. I'd like to get your take on mine till 4 p.m. And the discussions continue. 4 p.m. we've got business news coming up. Let's see what comes about to that. Is the Rivers State Police Command innocent? Are they innocent? The Commissioner of Police in Rivers State would have everyone believe that the Rivers State Police Command is innocent of all that's playing out as far as the political imbroglio in the state is concerned. But I'd like your assessment of that. There was a news item on this on our bulletin. I think that was sometime earlier this afternoon, I suppose. And where is that? It's here somewhere. Just a moment. Oh, here we go. In the meantime, Commissioner of Police, Rivers State Command, CPO Kong Effiong, the one that was dubbed the protector of rights, has warned politicians to stop dragging the police into politics. The Commissioner of Police, Rivers State Command, said the police remains neutral and focused on their constitutional duties. He also warned that unnecessary protesters hindering commercial activities would not be tolerated. Okay. So I'll ask you about this in the 4 o'clock hour. How innocent is the police, the Rivers State Police Command, in all of that's playing out the politics of Rivers State? I'll be asking you, what is your assessment of the roles played by the Rivers State Police Command in view of the ongoing political imbroglio in the state? I want to get your take on that in the 4 o'clock hour. And I hope that CPO Kong Effiong, the protector of rights, and his men will listen to that conversation so they hear whatever assessment or the assessment that will be given by the good people of Rivers State, not to be confused with the well-meaning people of Rivers State. That comes up in the 4 o'clock hour. All the way to 5, the news update comes up at 5 o'clock. And, lawmakers turn lawbreakers. Yeah, we're going to take a look at that. Lawmakers turn lawbreakers. Here's a story from the Punch newspaper. Court reinstates impeached Plateau Speaker after 18 months. Justice Nafisa Dawal Musa of the Plateau State High Court on Monday reinstated Abok Ayuba as the Speaker of the State House of Assembly more than 18 months after he was removed. Ayuba represents the Jos East constituency, was impeached on October 28, 2021 by some members of the State Assembly in controversial circumstances and replaced by another lawmaker, Yakubu Sanda, who represents the Pengana State constituency. Now, dissatisfied with the process that led to the impeachment of Abok, two members of the House, Gwotsun Fom, representing Jos South State constituency, and TM Purifa Genfa, representing the Langtang North constituency, approached the court for redress. They sought several sins, not going to go into that right now. And in delivering her judgment, Justice Musa reinstated Abok Ayuba as the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, while granting an injunction restraining the current Speaker Yakubu Sanda from parading himself as Speaker of the Assembly. The court also granted a sum of 20 million naira be paid as exemplary damages to the claimant, and went further to make a consequential order to the effect that all the emoluments, salaries, bonuses and allowances of the reinstated Speaker be paid to him from October 28, 2021 to the day of the expiration of his term as the Speaker of the Assembly. The judge also ordered the sum of 1.5 million naira to be paid as the cost of appearance in favour of counsel to the claimant, while another sum of 138,350 to be paid as the cost of filing the suit. And shortly after judgment was delivered, Abok told journalists, "We are here in the premises of the House of Assembly because all of us were elected to represent our various constituencies. We still have some months left for us to continue the assignment that was duly given to us by our various constituencies, even though there was a crisis some time ago. But today, the court has given these terms against that illegality that was done." Speaking of illegalities, one of the claimants, which was the claims, by the way, which was upheld by the judge, also sought a relief on the removal of the defendant as Speaker of Plateau State House of Assembly by votes of less than 2/3 majority or 16 members of the Assembly, which violated the provisions of Section 92 2C of the Constitution. And there are several reliefs, and all the reliefs that they sought of the court were granted to them. Now, this, if you read the details of this, which I will do when it's time to discuss it in the 5 o'clock hour, you realize there were a lot of illegalities in this purported removal of the Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly. And how many times have we had scenarios of this nature play out, where a handful of people will gather in a State House of Assembly and claim to have removed the Speaker of the House, violating all non-existing laws, and they rely on what appears to what is tradition, if you will, tradition of legislative immunity, a legal doctrine that protects legislators from being sued for all actions taken in the sphere of legitimate legislative activity. It is the extant practice worldwide to provide legislative immunity for lawmakers on statements made on the floor of the House during debates. In other words, legislators are protected by law from being prosecuted for claims and statements made inside the chambers of the legislature. However, what if they carry out criminal acts, illegal activities? Should they be protected from this? Because remember, legislators have no immunity in the Constitution. It's just a convention, if you will, and it's widely, universally understood and accepted that they enjoy such protection, such quote-unquote immunity. I'll be asking you, should legislative members get punished for breaking the law in the course of discharging their duties? Because once again, the person is removed as Speaker of the House illegally, and they ought to know. These are people who ought to know what the process is, what the law says about the impeachment of the Speaker of a House. Yet they violate every known law. Every known law is violated, and this person is ousted from that position for 18 months. Is this simply enough that the court has said you impeached him illegally, he still remains the Speaker of the House? In the eyes of the law, he was never removed as Speaker of the House. And then everybody just goes on like nothing happened. Should they get punished for this? I'm going to ask you, I'll ask you that in the 5 o'clock hour. I'd like to get your take on that. 5:30 headline news comes up. Top of the hour at 6 is the major news. A review of all these matters after that during the open decision segment. By 7, the sports gang are in for extra time. And that's what to expect on today's edition of the show. Let's get the ball rolling right now with today's side comments. Remember the random stories, random thoughts that caught my attention. Now, even though the side comments are distinct from the rant, I suspect strongly that there might be some slight infusion between, or some overlapping, if you will, between the content of my side comments today and what my rant will be eventually. I just thought to point that out. But let's start. Let's get into today's side comments straight away. Let's start with this one. River State Governor Yesir Wike says he's surprised the candidate personally went to INEC office to inspect the certified true copy of election materials. The governor said this during the commissioning of the government secondary school in Gokana local government area today. He wondered why the candidate did not direct his lawyers to inspect the CTC of the election materials. Let's take a listen to what the governor had to say on this matter, the consternation that he expressed, I suppose.
Have you seen where a candidate is going to INEC to collect CTC? Have you seen where a candidate will be going to INEC and want to go collect CTC? What are your lawyers doing? What are your agents doing? Those are duties of lawyers. What CTC do you want to collect? Can people see the truth of the matter? You lost the election.
Okay, you're right. I don't know who collects CTC. Maybe it's not conventional. Maybe it's not normal for a candidate to go to... And that's a huge maybe, by the way, because I don't know that it's never happened before. Maybe, just maybe. But if a candidate decides to go collect or inspect for themselves, very likely in the company of their lawyers, has that person violated any provisions of our law? And by the way, of course, a candidate has the right to show up at the INEC office at almost any time, I suppose. If INEC, who has been directed by the court to allow a candidate or his party or his representatives, lawyers, to have access to these materials, I'm sure the INEC, there's very smart people at INEC, know who to transfer these materials to or whom to allow to inspect these materials. So what does it matter if a candidate goes there or a candidate does not go there? The fact of the matter is the candidate, not the lawyers, by the way. The candidate is the one that went to court, or his party, or her party, saying, we would like to inspect these materials, and the court said, go ahead. I've got a commercial break now. Return shortly. Do please stay with us.
We take off with the biggest conversations with an exchange of opinions and ideas on the Morning Crossfire. Settle you into your day when we say hello, Port Harcourt.
Take you on a ride to the sunny side of life.
Over a bit while picking at the details on hard facts. with Dio.
Hello and welcome back. It is Hard Facts still, originating from your number one talk station, Nigeria Info. We're live from here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dio. Let's talk. And my side comments continue. Before I went on a break, I was expressing some thoughts on some concern raised by the River State Governor. Here is some of what he said again.
Have you seen where a candidate is going to INEC to collect citizenship? Have you seen where a candidate will be going to INEC and want to go and collect citizenship? What are your lawyers doing? What are agents doing? Those are duties of lawyers. What citizenship do you want to collect? Can people see the truth of the matter? You lost the election.
Okay, once again, well, Your Excellency, Mr. Governor, you obviously have a right to have an opinion on anybody going to INEC office to get whatever document. However, fortunately for the entire country, individual opinions are not really what counts. What counts is what the law says. What counts is the Constitution that we are all subject to. Every person, Honorable Excellency, masses, ordinary Nigerians, good people of Rivers State, including the well-meaning people of Rivers State as well. Everyone is subject to those laws. So what is really important is, has anyone violated any aspect of our laws by going to an INEC office without the candidate of a party or their lawyers to view or inspect some election material? Because once again, like I said earlier on, the lawyers are not the ones who went to court. They didn't send themselves to court. A candidate of a party are the ones who go saying, we would like this. And the court says, go ahead. And I don't think that the tribunal say, when they are delivering their judgment or granting the leave for inspection, they say, by the way, only the lawyers can look at it. Nobody else can look at it. I've never been at any of these election tribunal sittings, but I very much doubt that the judges there issue such directives. And the governor also criticized the other political parties for going to the tribunal after failure to win their constituencies.
Forget this wasting your time. Accord is going to tribunal. I can't understand. What kind of politician that you wouldn't know when to stop? Accord had run elections in 1999. Him too, he said they rigged him. In your polling unit, you didn't win there where your own compound is. And you are saying that they told you no Igbo, that you want there. You didn't win your own polling unit, your own house. You are talking about the Igbo people. And the Labour woman said, she gone to tribunal. You can have people that are wasting resources, giving out lawyers. Have you seen any lawyer you can say won't go? They need to pay their children school fees.
Well, I mean, Your Excellency, sir, with due respect, if you were not a politician and the governor of Rivers State, you may be a practicing lawyer also. You did read law in school. And by the way, that is also a constitutional right. They have a right to go. That's what the law says. They have a right to challenge the result of the elections, whether it's a Accord Party, Labour Party, APC Party, Power Must Change Hands Party. Everybody, that's what the law says. If you lose out in an election, that's why they will have the tribunals. You have a constitutional right to go there and say, you know what? I have a problem with the conduct of these elections, or especially I've got concerns about the results of this produced by these elections. I'd like to challenge these results. They can do that. They have the right to do that. And there is no caveat in the law as to whether you can only go to the tribunal if you want your polling unit in your backyard or you want the polling unit in your bedroom. No, you could go. Even if you don't win the polling unit as in your toilet, you can still go there. The law says they can go. And they violated nothing. They've done nothing wrong by going. It's democracy. That's what democracy is about. That's the beauty of democracy. Why do we have a problem with democracy all of a sudden? Story here as well. Management of University of Port Harcourt has promised to investigate reports that some students are selling hostel accommodation. In a statement, the spokesperson for the institution, Sam Ikpenu, warned that any student found culpable will be made to face the wrath of the law. Okpeno, however, added that the university does not sell accommodation to students, but applies the statutory charges for students to pay for the accommodation, which he said doesn't amount to the selling of accommodation. To that, I'd like to say this. It reminds me of that story that was on the news sometime about a week or two ago that had to do with some event at the University of Port Harcourt. I think some students were brought together and there was some nice talk about, staying away from money laundering or things like that, or terrorism financing, or other criminal acts, something of that nature. And I think the Vice Chancellor was there as well to address the students. And I said, yeah, it's nice to sound fancy and talk nice to students about how they should live decent, upright lives with integrity, and that's good. But beyond the nice sounding words, the university system ought to show an example to students. The management, the staff, the academic staff, non-academic staff ought to show an example to students. That's why we refer to our institutions of higher learning as ivory towers. And the management and staff are the custodians, and they're supposed to live by example to the students. So when we have a university campus where a campus like Uniport, where access is highly controlled, and you expect it's a safe and secure environment, but on election days, right on the campus, they're snatching ballot boxes. The people who snatched the ballot boxes somehow gained access onto the campus. They snatched it, and they somehow must have left the campus somewhere or another. And then you're telling students to stay away from fraud and terrorism and money laundering. Once again, sounds nice. It's good to tell them these things, but you can't tell them that and then on election day they see people snatching ballot. And reportedly, some academic staff were involved in a ballot box snatching, but I have not heard University of Port Harcourt management say anything about this. Now, back to the issue of selling hostel accommodation. In my experience, the people first and foremost, and maybe even most guilty of hostel space racketeering, in my experience, are university staff. They are the biggest culprits when it comes to hostel accommodation racketeering. In my experience, in the allocation of bed spaces, that's where the racket starts. From university staff, that's where it starts. That's where the racket commences. The allocation. Students pay. Everybody knows this. Students pay. And I'm not talking about statutory charges. No. They are sold. Let me use the word the appropriate term. They are sold to students. And then when students know that even university staff are selling hostels to students, of course, that's where they got the idea. Where do you think they got the idea from that we can sell bed spaces and sell it? From university staff who sold to them. That's where the racket starts, by the way. When they sell to them, they feel, okay, well, we can sell also. There's a market for it, right? So before you start threatening students to deal decisively with them, have we dealt decisively with the university staff who are the ones that initiate this racket, who are the ones that commence the selling of bed spaces in the first place before students now resell to other students or other persons? Let's first deal decisively with university staff who are selling accommodation on campus before we start talking about and I'm not saying that students who resell should not be dealt with. I'm not saying that anyone who breaks the law should be dealt with. What I'm saying, if we're going to deal with students or deal decisively with students who are selling accommodation on campus or bed spaces, let's understand that they are simply reselling. So let's also deal decisively with those who sold it to them in the first place, university staff. Let's see. Was there anything else that caught my attention today before I move on to today's definitely. There was something else that caught my attention earlier on today. Let's see. By the way, protests by PDP supporters at the INEC office on Abba Road continued this morning. You might remember yesterday some PDP supporters led by the Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Edison here, and the Ikure Local Government Chairman, Samuel Wanasike, protested at the INEC office demanding joint inspection of election materials used for the February 25 and March 18 elections. Our correspondent who visited the scene reports that the protesters have blocked a section of the road, singing and dancing to the rhythm from their drums. And some of the protesters spoke. Well, you heard what they said yesterday. I'm not going to play those back again. And however, by the way, the question is why? Why are we stopping a constitutionally guaranteed process? Why are we standing in the way of that? The law guarantees that they have a right to do this. They went to court to seek leave of court to inspect these election materials. The court said, as is nothing unusual about that, the court said, go ahead, go and inspect. And they're going to inspect. And we're singing and dancing and blocking off the roads and all that. And where is the police in all of this? Where is the police in all of this? Is there no intelligence report? Is the Rivers State Police Command suddenly bereft of intelligence reports? Suddenly the Rivers State Police Command can't find intelligence report anywhere. Is this not disrupting the peace that we are enjoying? The peace that we are enjoying in Rivers State? Is all of this not destroying the peace that we are enjoying in Rivers State? I mean, reports have it that there was a major traffic gridlock yesterday. I don't know about today, but yesterday people were been stuck in traffic for long periods of time because people are trying to stop a constitutionally guaranteed process, and the Rivers State Police Command is not getting intelligence reports. And we heard that they've gathered again. They gathered again this morning. Remarkable. But I'm sure that if 20 people decide to hold a protest tomorrow, maybe, I don't know, maybe about the suit or whatever it is, to complain about floods in their community, intelligence reports will start flying everywhere. The police will start getting reports from FBI, from CIA, from Russian KGB, from Israeli Mossad. Even 007 will be flown in to come and give special intelligence right from Buckingham Palace, about how hoodlums sponsored by Hezbollah and ISIS are planning to take over this protest of 20 people, and disrupt the peace that we are enjoying, in Rivers State. But I have to wrap this up right now. But I got a few messages here before I move on. The students are snatching customers from the university staff. Oh, is that it? Is that what's going on? Is that why Uniport's management are concerned right now? The students are snatching. Maybe the students are taking over the industry. Maybe just maybe. Since the ruling party are the ones protesting, hoodlums have disappeared. Oh, well, that's another message here, by the way. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, that's it for today's side comment. I go for a break now. When I return, today's round comes up. Do please stay with us.
With Diode.
Hello and welcome back. It is Hard Factor Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Di. We've got 20 to go before 4 p.m. I'd like to run for just a bit. There's something in my mind. I'll express some thoughts on it, and you're very welcome to express your thoughts and mine all the way till 4 p.m. Now, today's rant started from yesterday. It's a continuing story, but there's something that happened today which I'll get to, or something that featured on the news today. But just to give you some backstory, some background to what happened to the news item today, so you're able to follow what's going on. But basically, yesterday, some persons said to be members of the People's Democratic Party went out and blocked the road and backed them some kind of a protest, saying that they want to conduct joint inspection of election materials. Yeah, I think that happened yesterday, I suppose. Deputy Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Edison Ehie, who led members of the PDP to protest, called for all political parties in the state to be jointly allowed to inspect whatever materials that will be inspected at the INEC office for the tribunal. Here is a reminder of some of what he said, what transpired yesterday. Where is that? 405. Okay, I think here we go. Let's take a quick listen to that.
We have come physically to register our protest and our presence that INEC cannot allow any of the political parties to inspect materials without the order. We are saying even us as PDP don't allow us to inspect the electoral materials without the other political parties. This is democracy. That's the rule of law.
Like I said yesterday, Mr. Deputy Speaker, that is 99 sins, but the rule of law ain't one of them. Also, Equity Council Chairman Samuel Wanasike spoke during the protest. He had this to say.
And that's what we are saying. We just have one demand. Any inspection that we preclude going to check materials used for the both elections, February 25th and 18th of March, must be done jointly. We are not asking that PDP should do it alone. We are also not agreeing that APC should do it alone. All political parties must do a joint inspection. We want joint inspection because it is clear and obvious that 3 days ago, a witch cried and the next morning a baby died.
Okay, I didn't hear the witch cry, and I'm not aware of the death of any babies, by the way. However, on this issue of joint inspection, so that we must all check it out together. Let's take a listen to some of some development on this matter, which is I'm now delving into the crux of today's rant. Some political parties in Rivers State are reacting to the protests which led to violence. Spokesperson of the SDP Campaign Council, Bethel Okojaja, told our correspondent it's a ploy by the PDP to delay the inspection. By the way, once again, remember the PDP saying that all of us must inspect together. All parties must inspect together. So these other parties that the PDP is campaigning on their behalf, what are they saying?
INEC knows what the law says. PDP have not allowed to investigate those materials that was used for the election. They are just trying to prevent other parties from doing their legitimate duty. We are still consulting. Once we are done with that consultation, we will take appropriate action. We are studying the OD. Our legal team is undergoing all exercise, trying to see and get what is required. If we are done and we consult and it is necessary, we will go for it.
On this part, what is another party saying, by the way, about this joint inspection that the PDP is clamoring for? Governorship candidate of ADP, Victor Fingesi, said the demand of the PDP is outrageous because the court only granted the APC's request to inspect and not all political parties.
Parties are independent on their own. No party should interfere with another party. Now the PDP, if they want to inspect those materials, should go on their own. And if any other party wants to inspect the materials because they have requested to inspect those materials and the court has granted them that inspection, the court didn't grant a joint inspection. The PDP here is not doing what is right, and I think we should avoid problems when we see them and do those things that would give the state peace.
What happens within a political party, as our political parties in Nigeria, honorables and excellencies inclusive, are prone to saying, might be a family affair. Inspection of election materials is not a family affair. No, and it's not one political party. And even if it's a family affair, it's the affair of the party that has gone to court to say, court, tribunal, we would like to inspect the materials. And then the tribunal responds by saying, go ye and your family members, go inspect it. The court did not ask them to drag any extended family members or long-lost cousins who want to be a part of it. Or meddling or troublesome great-grandmothers or great-grandfathers who want to be a part of the process regardless of whether they want them to or not. And by the way, what is the agency that is given the responsibility of conducting this process? What are they saying about this? INEC in Rivers State has urged all political parties that apply to inspect election materials to visit its local offices for such purpose. The statement by the resident electoral commissioner, Johnson Sinekiam, comes amid ongoing protests by the PDP in the state. The commission said it has received 50 of the applications since the conclusion of the elections in Rivers State. It said a good number of the applications have been processed. In accordance with the date of receipt of such applications, it said the process is still ongoing. There is nothing like joint inspection. If you want to inspect, nobody is stopping you from inspecting. Go to the courts. Get leave of court to inspect. Some party or parties have gone to court to get leave of court to inspect. They want to inspect. What is the problem? Let them inspect. They've got the right to inspect. It is their constitutional right to inspect. And the courts have agreed with them, with their position, and have asked them to go inspect. How can that be a problem? So, conclusively, the political parties, or at least some of them that the PDP is campaigning for, have said, leave us alone. I'm paraphrasing now. When we want to inspect, we know how to go about inspecting. We will go to the court, we will initiate the process, we will inspect. We don't need to be drawn into a family inspection. This is not a village meeting. So if anybody has gone to court to say they want to inspect it, they have a right to do so. They should go ahead to inspect. When we want to inspect, we will inspect as well. INEC is also saying, if you've gone through the process, applications, filed necessary applications to grant, come inspect. It's not a problem. Please let them inspect. And also, which is a primary essence of my rant today, it's a reminder to the People's Democratic Party, especially in Rivers State. The PDP in Rivers State has high-ranking lawyers in its fold, either supporters of the party, card-carrying members of the party, sympathizers of the party in Rivers State. I mean, you can consult these people. I'm sure they can offer free advice on what the law says about inspecting election materials. Let's do things in line with the law. Once again, I'm sure some very senior lawyers are of the PDP. I'm sure they understand what the law says and they can render some free advice to their members on what the law says about this. And conclusively to the Rivers State Police Command, where is the intelligence report? We have persons who are resisting a constitutionally guaranteed process. Rivers State Police Command, where is the much publicized, touted intelligence report? Where are hoodlums who usually go over this? And why we disrupt peace that we are enjoying in Reddit? On that note, and my round thanks to let you on board. Let's get you to the man. That must the same line. Call 070-0923-0923. That's 070-0923-923. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info PH. We're live on Twitter at Nigeria Info PH. Hello, hard party, welcome. Please go on. Hello, 91.3. Okay, all right, let's do this. So just call 0817-923-0002. All right, let's save ourselves the trouble today. Call 0817-923-0003 or 0817-923-0007. Once again, 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003 or 0007. Do please call any of those numbers so we can save ourselves some trouble. Hello? 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 Hello, Hard Factor, welcome. Please go ahead.
Okay, this is Chris.
Go ahead.
The question I want to ask them that are protesting Why are they protesting? That's the question. I thought they said they won the election. They won the election. They did everything. They win everything for the hands down. Then why are they protesting? They would have stayed now so that these people will go to. They are the people that said, if you are not comfortable with the election, go to court. Now they want to go to court. Why are they covering the INEC office for them not to enter and get the material they need? What are they afraid of? They are causing a lot of problem in this state. Then the PDP people, I'm talking to them. Why are they afraid? Why are they not letting the people to go and get what they want? Court have ordered them to go and get it. So why are they blocking the INEC office? If really what they do was the real election, if they want them, accept this.
Good to hear from you once again. 0817 923 0002 or 307. Hunt to welcome. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Dayo.
Hello, go ahead. Hello? Hello? Hello, Hot Factor, welcome.
Hello, good afternoon, Dayo.
Please go ahead.
Okay, people are asking why are they protesting? Why are they blocking the entrance? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Why won't they do it? Why won't they do it? What does the law say about preventing of evidence? Please, they should block the road. If you do bad things, you want to prevent people from coming to see the battle you have done. They should allow them to block the road. That is how we do it in this part of the world. Please block the road.
Hello?
PDP have the right to protest. People should stop complaining. It does not matter whether you're the winner. You have the right to protest, and they're not blocking any road. People did it in Abuja. Even the vice president, former Atiku, they block everywhere. No complaint. Why is PDP a problem to you, Dayo, and your own supporters? People should stop this nonsense.
Good to hear from you as well. Hello, Hot Factor, welcome. Please go on.
Hello, Dayo. Good evening.
Hi, go on.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, go ahead. Hello, Hot Factor, welcome.
Hello, Dayo. Good afternoon.
Hello, go on, please.
I just passed the INEC office just now. And the people are still blocking the downside of that GRS. So I don't know if we are in democracy or we are doing another thing. I think our governor here is a lawyer. So he should attend. He should use his integrity and his brain. If he enter class, let me just take this that word. People are supporting him to block the route. So he should use his head. If he enter class.
Hello, please, you can, whilst you're perfectly allowed to have an opinion and express your opinion, I'm sure you can do that without attempting to denigrate or even if you subtly use any abusive terms or expressions. That will not be allowed on Nigerian Info. Definitely not on my show for any reason at all. So please disregard the comments of that caller. However, I've got a commercial break to attend to now. I'll return shortly. Please stay with us. Okay, Mark, let's get your take still. Via Facebook, Anthony Onoa goes, whether a candidate joins his lawyer to go and inspect materials or not, is that an issue? Even those who are supposed to preserve the law have total knowledge of it. Where is that? Oh, sadly, the message simply disappeared here. Emmanuel now viewable on Facebook goes, you're talking about lawyer now because others have talked about lawyer. What is the issue if Tony Cole has a valid court order and he decides to go to his lawyer? PDP should get their own court order and accompany him to INEC office if they like. Lawyer or no lawyer is not the issue here. Let's take a few more messages as I wrap up this segment of the conversation. Good afternoon, please. Is there any difference between Wiki and everyone else? Wiki can abuse people both on radio and TV, yet you want us to respect him by not calling him names. No, well, I don't know if the governor, if the River State governor were a guest on my show, I would definitely not allow him insult anyone. Maybe he does it elsewhere. Maybe other media houses broadcast it anyways. I don't know. Well, maybe I do know. However, believe me when I say, if the governor is seated across me here in the studio, he would not be allowed to insult anyone. And if he would not desist from doing that, the interview would end immediately. So if I would not allow the governor to do that, I definitely would not allow you to do that. Good afternoon. The electoral manipulations and abuse of process you see today was initiated some years ago when someone claimed that 16 is greater than 19 during the Governor's Forum election in 2014. A person who did not belong to the forum truncated the democratic process. We are beneficiaries of that abuse of power, and it is getting worse. Hard fact, Dyer's rant, it's very clear, beyond dispute, the PDP, which I see as the aggressor in this case, is doing everything to frustrate the APC from filing their case before the tribunal. It's also a shame the police has, by their conduct, shown open bias and compromise by not protecting those that are on their legitimate constitutional and statutory obligations from having access to obtain the CTC of electoral materials. The River State Police Command, the world is watching you. I think I have to wrap up this segment at this time, one at a time, just about a minute ago before 4 p.m. So I strongly recommend, as I did earlier on, and I have to reiterate this because that's the primary purpose of today's rant, the People's Democratic Party in River State, once again, some of the highest ranking lawyers in Nigeria currently, either members of the PDP, supporters or sympathizers of the party, especially in the state. Consult them. Ask them what the law says. And by the way, these high-ranking lawyers, don't wait for them to consult you. You know the law. Advise them. Maybe they really don't know. Advise them on what the law says, what is proper, what is constitutional, what is democratic. Business news at 4 p.m. When I return, it's the River State Police Command innocent. The police commissioner says they don't want to be involved. Are they?
With information comes power.